What is up, wrestling fans? Welcome to the second of, 6 Pay-Per-Viewpoint post-show podcast for this week, something like that. Smarkoutmoment.com, of course. I'm Tony Mango, joined as always by Robert DeFelice.
Hey, it's NXT Stand and Deliver.
It's Stand and Deliver season. They are standing. Let's see if they deliver. We don't know yet because this is the preview. Of course, we will have a post-show immediately following that pay-per-view on Saturday afternoon. And, you know, as we normally do here, we want you to say what you have to say about this podcast and everything that we talk about. So as we are going along and breaking down the card, drop your thoughts in the comment section below. While you're over there, click on the like button on YouTube, click on the subscribe button if you haven't already. Make sure that you are subscribed and make sure you have your email alerts set up for when we do go live for that post show. We'll be on the webcams. We'll be talking about hopefully some really good matches and stuff that went down. If you want to help us out on the monetary side of things, you got the little thanks button that's on there. You double check on that join button as well. Gets you access to the same stuff as the Patreon. If you go to patreon.com/smarkoutmoment, you'll see the Darkcast tier, the Pick Your Poison tier, but even the $1 a month tier is greatly appreciated. And it's exactly the same over on YouTube. If you also want to help us out on the monetary side of things when it comes to the merchandise, Redbubble and TeePublic are where you can pick that up. Someone most recently had picked up one of the I suffer from wrestling bitch face things. So I thought that was always one of those things that should have caught on a little bit more. Thank you, whoever that was. And keep in mind that if you pick up any merchandise whatsoever, or if you are subscribed to the channel, or if you share any of the stuff that I have up on that gleam.io contest that we have up on the website right now, those are entries for the Rocky Maivia Funko Pop giveaway that is going on right now, sponsored by fun.com. Those people are always great in tossing some stuff merchandise-wise your way. And if you want to thank them, check them out. If you want to thank us, check us out and, you know, join in on that contest as much as you can. Smark Madness tournament is going on right now. Vote on either John Cena or Roman Reigns as the top WrestleMania main eventer of all time. Of course, very quickly mention about the Discord server, which maybe we end up doing something with that over the next few days. I still kind of want to do something that's maybe like live streaming some WrestleMania thing or something. So if you're interested, let me know. The Darkcast I already mentioned before, fanboysanonymous.com, all that good stuff. We'll talk to you more about that when we go wrap back around for the plugs. But NXT Stand and Deliver, we just got done watching NXT. It's just finished a few minutes ago. So some more matches added to the card, and I think it's pretty set in stone at this point. I'm not anticipating that they're going to add anything else, but normally there should be some other matches that I think maybe could have been on this card. So this is one of the things where we talk about a lot. What is going on with the matches that are not on the card? Why would they have skipped out on, let's say, they didn't do anything for the Heritage Cup, for instance. We've just set up this whole catch clause, and it immediately went nowhere. For 2 weeks now, I don't even think that they were even a part of the show last week. They weren't this week, at least.
No, they were. Didn't they wrestle?
What, last week?
I thought they wrestled last week.
They might have, and I might have just forgotten. But they weren't like a prominent thing. Like, they didn't like set anything up for the show or... You know, like one of the other matches that I'm surprised isn't on the card is anything with Lexis King and Von Wagner, because they just they did the match tonight. And
let me tell you, it's better that they did it on television.
I don't think it would have been anything all that much more special.
You would have been disappointed if you were watching it as part of a premium live event.
It is kind of weird though that a guy like Lexis King isn't on the card.
I think it's because they decided to go with. I mentioned this off air when talking about Drew Gulak, but I think it's because they decided to go with the main roster got the ladder match. The NXT North American title is a big meaty men slap and meat match. So there's no room for like, throw Lexis King in the, North American title ladder match thing.
I think if they would have had one of those like 5-6 men in there, you could have seen either those two, or you could have seen Joe Gacy and Shawn Spears or something. Heritage Cup still wouldn't have been a factor.
They're wrestling.
Yeah, but I mean, like they might have been thrown into there instead.
Wow.
And then it could have been like King and Wagner in a singles match. Wouldn't have factored in with the Heritage Cup though. And since they do have a match on, which we're not going to be able to call it the kickoff anymore. This is weird to me. It's already like they've pretty much set in stone, at least when it comes to this week. I don't know if they're going to continue it going forward, but they're referring to everything pre-show wise as countdown to blank. They're not tossing the kickoff name at all anymore.
Well, no, they're using it. They're using it for like these little pep rally things.
The press conference thing was the WrestleMania kickoff.
And they're doing another kickoff Thursday.
Another kickoff thing?
I think it's Thursday or Friday.
There's something on the schedule for Friday. If I remember correctly.
I think it's the kickoff.
I thought that was just re-airing the press conference.
No, it's a new one.
So then what is this?
It's a kickoff.
Let's see. It's because I'm like, wait, I don't remember that being another thing. WrestleMania kickoff, whatever. Okay, so on Friday, the festivities kick off at WWE World with a special episode of the Pat McAfee Show that will feature Triple H, a host of other superstars. Then the road to WrestleMania heads toward the finish with a special WrestleMania kickoff at 5.
Tells you.
So then what the fuck is that? Either way, they are still referring to this as like at the 5 p.m. mark for WrestleMania, the 2 hours that are going to lead into it is countdown to WrestleMania. And the NXT Stand and Deliver thing is being labeled countdown to NXT Stand and Deliver. So I don't know if they are going to continue that going forward. And it's just going to be like a countdown to Backlash and countdown to Clash at the Castle and all that. But that's going to be weird to be like, all right, the pre-show, no, the kickoff, no, the countdown to blank. It's a mouthful, but we have a match on the countdown.
Well, buy into your 0 hour of
0 hour buy-in, yeah.
Free-for-all. Thank you.
I always liked the free-for-all name so much better.
Because it's free-for-all.
It's so perfect. Like, why, Then again, I'm the one that kept suggesting, why don't they bring back In Your House to air the house shows? So what am I? Logical?
I miss the NXT In Your House stuff. Was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I always like the In Your House stuff. But now we have a match set for this countdown to, I'm just going to call it the countdown. I ain't fucking calling it the countdown to NXT Stand and Deliver. So that means that they're willing to have matches on the pre-show for that. Maybe they could have had a Heritage Cup or the Wagner and King match on there. And, I don't think that they need a full hour to talk about that stuff. And, you can get rid of that in 20 minutes and have some matches. But then at that point, you might as well just have it be the actual card itself. Do a half-hour countdown and then just do the rest of the show. But it's neither here nor there. But no Heritage Cup involvement whatsoever. No Wagner and King. I don't think there's anything else that I would have necessarily put on this card. Like Ariana Grace and Gigi Dolan haven't gotten their stuff figured out yet. So that's
Remember,
a TV
was it
thing.
2 years ago when it was Steph DeLander and Indy Hartwell just fucking playing dress up with Dexter Lumis and Duke Hudson?
On the pre-show for that?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I remember they were just like, yeah, well, I'm going to make out with him hotter than you. I'm going to...
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Didn't they have the cowboy hats and stuff?
That rule. Do that.
Well, I don't think that the catch clause applies to that.
No, but I think this card is actually pretty good. One thing I got to give NXT, they're very concise cards. They're very good shows on paper. Like, no more, no less. There's no, let's fucking put 9 matches on here and 5 15-minute promo segments. It's just a good show.
I mean, they don't have the time for that, but I fully expect that if they would have had a little bit more time, those 2 matches probably would have been in there. Maybe something else too, but they did book one of the matches that I was hoping that they would get around to, the 6-woman tag. That's Thea Hale, Fallon Henley, Kelani Jordan against Jacy Jayne, Kiana James, and Izzi Dame. It's going to be hard to say that one. Hale and Henley and Jordan against Jayne and James and Dame.
Jayne is a great team.
And Fallon, Henley or something. Backtracking with whatever.
Well, I like Fallon, Hale, Henley's chances.
I like the way that Srub thinks. The Heritage Cup thing out of the way. The Von Wagner and Lexus King thing out of the way. Those people aren't going to be involved. Do you think that we're going to get any kind of surprises on the show or any kind of impromptu things? Like,
look, I think that's the perfect way to lead into a tag team match. I thought for sure maybe we could see Tama Tonga debuting and helping the Good Brothers win the NXT tag team titles.
I thought that was going to be a thing too. I was actually like several weeks ago thinking to myself, all right, well, when we get down to the predictions, I'm going to toss that out there as a big, like, hey, if people are thinking Tama Tonga is going to be at WrestleMania for the whole Bloodline thing, maybe it's a NXT Stand and Deliver. Nope, fuck that, because it's Axiom and Nathan Frazer.
On what grounds are these two the team? I don't know. I don't get it.
I am completely at a loss for why. Like, that's not to say that they're like bad or anything like that. Like, they're fine. But it just seemed like it was such an obvious win for the Good Brothers. And instead, like, I mean, you and I both had things like pre-written up of like, yeah, okay, so they win. I had this on like 9 different pages where I was like, yeah, it's probably going to be them. I'll just put them in there. Then I won't have to bother with it. I had to go back and change that for all sorts of different things. So I'm kind of up in the air about, to be perfectly honest, I actually am not 100% sold on most of these matches about like the winners. Some of them I think are pretty obvious. Some of them are like a little closer to like 60-40. And then there's a few that are just like, I don't know, man. So that's one of them. We'll come back around to that. I don't have really a whole lot to say when it comes to Joe Gacy and Shawn Spears. Let's talk about that one. Gacy had his feud with Dijak. They finished that up. This transitioned into Shawn Spears when Gacy got involved by removing the chair that Spears was going to use. And it seemed like he suffered, he being Gacy, some kind of an injury, but they decided to book this match anyway. So it must not have been bad. Maybe like he just got like knocked a little loopy or something. Or maybe that's even fake. I don't know. But Gacy and Spears on the pre-show is a solid enough match.
Is it confirmed for the pre-show?
That's what Ava said, at least. She was like, Gacy was like, "Oh, I want Spears on Saturday," and she's like, "Fine, countdown to whatever you got him."
Yeah. Okay. Whatever. Shawn Spears should win this.
Definitely should.
I was this last Tuesday. When did I text you that there's no character I hate on NXT more now than Joe Gacy?
It must have been last Tuesday. Yeah.
Like, I hate this guy. Like, and
it's
I
so weird because it's like I spent
much.
for so long hating it, and now I'm like, oh, I like it a lot better.
Like, the schism made sense. I hate the zany guy who just loses. I hate that gimmick. WWE does it a lot. And I think Joe Gacy actually had potential. And I hate it. I'm sorry.
So you hate it, but love is blind. And if you liked what he had before, but not now, well, the grass is always greener on the other side.
All right, I got you. All right. Look, I think this is a fine match. I'm glad Shawn Spears is getting booked. I have no ill will towards that guy at all. In fact, I like him. I wish he was doing more.
I was just gonna say, did you have some kind of problem with him?
He should be helping Cody. Listen, that's what needs to happen. Spears and Maxwell and the rest of them need to like help this dude win and finish his story. But no, I like that Spears is back. I wish he was a bit higher up on the card. But I understand, you know. It's just he's already lost some luster because he's already lost to Dijak.
Yeah.
Clean, like why?
Clean enough where like the Gacy thing obviously was a factor in it, but it was still a loss. And I'm still surprised that wasn't Spears against Briggs. Because they had Briggs against Duke Hudson. And it was like face against face, heel against heel. I wonder why they did that. But I do think that Spears needs to win. He should be a top heel going forward. And whether they go with like, you know, whoever walks out with the championship, I have my prediction. We'll get into that a little bit. I think that they do need to have more top heels because, look, I mean, Carmelo Hayes isn't going to be sticking around at NXT for a long time. You gotta replace him with somebody.
Well,
John
Fightful
Spears
selects Corey Brennan. Seem to note that, Carmelo Hayes is being called up.
I mean, you would assume that he would be popping up after Mania.
I mean, look, I like Corey. I'm playing around a little bit, but like, surprise.
Yeah.
He was on SmackDown for a whole month before the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, true.
Like, come on.
The biggest surprise is when somebody from NXT gets called up before they've even really done anything in NXT. Once they reach the point that they've already won the championships and they like have nothing else that they can accomplish, then it's just a ticking clock. Like, we know Braun Breaker's not sticking around in NXT the rest of this year. We know that there's not a huge chance that Carmelo Hayes is still in NXT by Backlash. You know, the draft might be necessarily a few weeks after Mania or something, so we might have to wait like a little bit of that time frame. But Tiffany Stratton already moved up, and you know, well, I guess technically Breaker is part of the SmackDown roster.
Breaker is on SmackDown, yeah.
So, but I mean, he's still obviously popping up in NXT.
Wolf Dog shirts. Why is Baron Corbin, who's done everything on the main roster, now not on the main roster?
Why is it when Baron Corbin's getting the most over that he's been in a long time, they're going to break them up? That's a shame. Well, let's get into that match then, because we're both going Spears, right?
Yeah, Spears is definitely winning.
So the Wolf Dogs are going up against Axiom and Nathan Frazer for the NXT Tag Team titles, and
the Wolf Dogs are winning.
I don't know at this point, because I would think that means the Wolf Dogs would win because they shouldn't lose it to Axiom and Nathan Frazer. I assumed that they were going to lose it to the Good Brothers, and now that they aren't, there's half of me that says, oh, well, then the Wolf Dogs are retaining, and that's why they decided to do this, is because they wanted to kind of drag it out a little bit to do the Good Brothers switch on TV, or, you know, maybe they announce like, what would the next like special episode be?
Episode?
Yeah, like Spring Break-In? Or no?
No, didn't we already do that?
It wouldn't be Heat Wave. It wouldn't be the Great American Bash.
Are scheduled for shows. I don't know. Maybe they bring back NXT Judgment Day. They cannot call it Judgment Day. Never mind. NXT.
Maybe they do it in your house. Let's just say that. Like,
I would love that.
If they're like, oh, you know, on March or May, whatever the hell, we're going to have some special episode. Maybe that's when they plan on doing that, and they're just going to like wait in the meantime. But then there's a part of me that also says, I don't know, man. They seem to like Axiom and Nathan Frazer, and maybe in their mind, they'd rather those two hold the tag titles.
You know what, Tony? That's some hard-hitting home truth right there.
Haven't seen that gimmick in a while, have we? And maybe Axiom and Nathan Frazer are meant to lose it to the Good Brothers, or maybe the repackaging with AJ Styles getting a new thing. Maybe the Good Brothers are going to be back with him. I don't know.
I'm thinking either full OC helps AJ beat LA Knight, or they just decided last second, hey, we're going to have the actual NXT team beat these two main roster people for the right to go to NXT Stand and Deliver.
Maybe that was just a means to put them over. Yeah. But even then, I think it's kind of strange that they had the LWO as a part of that instead of just figuring out the tournament a little bit better and having a one-on-one.
They weren't going to be at fucking WrestleMania. They might as well do something on TV.
Sure. Yeah. They could stand next to Carlito on the sidelines.
Can they deliver?
I don't know. I mean, can they ampersand? Either.
All right, that's not as funny as I feel like it is. But that's so stupid.
Well, now we got to figure it out. We have stand, ampersand, deliver. Carlito, Joaquin, and Cruz. Which one's which?
Well, I just assume Cruz and Joaquin are the two sides of the ampersand, and Carlito.
He's in the middle.
Of them, he's probably the one that's going to deliver.
He's like, and that's cool. That's stupid.
I guess Selena Vega could stand. Yeah, she'll stand. Carlito will deliver, and they'll be the ampersand.
I think she's more the deliver. Based off what I've seen. In any fashion, whatever the hell this discussion is. So what happens when you get a 1049 podcast? As if we're like exhausted or anything.
This is what happens with me and you, because we're just
That's
fucking
true.
stupid. We're just stupid.
Yeah. We gotta calm it down a little bit when Callum's there and he just goes, oh, God, I don't want to do this podcast anymore.
Oh, God.
Well, I am 50-50 about this now, though. I do think that there's a really good chance that Axiom and Nathan Frazer win. And
I just
that's
assume
weird.
the Wolf Dogs are going to eat them up. Just completely this is going to be a run through for them.
It could be. And you know what? Maybe that's even the plan. Maybe there's like, I know that this is very unlikely. I'll just put that out there. Like, this isn't me actually putting this as like my bet. Maybe the Motor City Machine Guns might have something going on. What if the plan is like some kind of impromptu, like, yeah, they beat the crap out of them and then, you know, we won another match or something, and then those guys pop out. It's just a weird decision that the Good Brothers were involved in all of this and they didn't win. So either their perspective was totally the opposite of what I was thinking, or they changed it at the last minute for a reason. And I don't know. There's a part of me that thinks that the belts might change hands, even though on paper I would think that the Wolf Dogs should just chew them up and spit them out.
I'm going full, not squash match, but like when it's over, you will know that they are the dominant champions.
Oof, that's what I say.
Oh.
Let's talk about that 6-woman tag match. Thea Hale, Fallon, Henley, and Kelani Jordan, otherwise known as Falalala, Leilani, whatever. I don't know. I forget what we said earlier. Against Jayne and James Dame. And I had said before, I thought that Ren Sinclair should be a part of this because she could offset Jasmine Nix.
Is Jasmine Nix really hurt?
I think they were just selling it.
Okay. Maybe they just decided to do Ren Sinclair and the Ariana Grace thing.
Yeah. I mean, Sinclair hasn't technically had anything going on in the past couple of weeks where she was doing that whole like shadowing Fallon Henley thing. They kind of stepped away from that. So they could have just decided that they don't really want that pairing anymore.
She's also in Chase U. Like, it seems like she was destined to be around this.
And yet, for some reason, isn't. Unless maybe their big plan is like, you know, Nix gets involved and Sinclair comes out and help. But they didn't allude to that at all this week, so I don't think that's happening. But I'm glad that this is on the card because, you know, this Thea Hale and Jacy Jayne thing has been going on for a long time. We don't have any other Chase University stuff happening on here. No Riley Osborne, no Andre Chase, no Duke Hudson. So it's like, cool. This is a good way for Hale and her two buds to go up against her former best bud that wasn't her bud and the two other. I was
never your friend.
Yeah.
But I thought we were friends. Okay. Like, I love this story. It's so stupid.
It's so that good. Pure CW stuff that we were talking about.
So good. Like, it's just so dumb. Like, and when Ava made the match, which by the way, really cool segments, really cool transitions, where you just see Jacy Jayne walk into the back and she's just immediately like, yeah, Ava, that's why I did all of this. And, you know, Ava tells her to leave, and then you see Lexis King go through the curtain, but the baby faces come back. Like, I gotta get my hands. That feels so real compared to what you normally see in WBTV. Shout out to the production, is what I'm saying. It's been a lot better in the last recent weeks.
So much better with like that transition shot that they had done before with Sami Zayn going into the back, and the way that they've been filming some of the matches. They had the whole thing with was it the Dakota Kai match, I think, where it was like they were spinning around the ring.
Yes. Also, cool. I gotta say, real quick, because I don't know where else we'll talk about it, but man, last night on Raw, they did a hot tag to Tegan Nox and Dakota Kai. Crickets. And I was just like, if this was NXT, the place would have blown the roof off. That sucked. I felt really bad for them.
Tegan's had very bad luck in WWE. It's been a real shame.
But yeah, back to this match. The babyfaces should win. I love this team. They seem like so just genuinely likable people. You know what I mean?
You mean the babyfaces?
Yeah. Like, well, I said they were going to win.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, you could have been like, I like this team. Axiom and Nathan Frazer.
Well, no, what I'm saying is I like Lonnie, and I think they're really fun. I think Thea Hale, for some reason, went through puberty, but came out of the back end more childish, maybe. It's very weird what they do with her character. But Fallon Henley is like a good, cool, big sister type, and Kelani Jordan is just the great athlete along for the ride. I just like it. As opposed to what we have dubbed in our fantasy bookings, the Mean Girls.
Yeah, it's the Mean Girls against the nerds, kind of.
It's the Mean Girls against
the Goody Two Shoes.
Yeah, there it is. The Mean Girls against the Goody Two Shoes.
It's a classic. It doesn't go out of style. You can book it in almost any scenario, and it'll always make sense.
But I like it. I'm a big fan.
Felani Henley or something, I don't know, against Jayme. Jayme. There you go. It's Dame, James, and Jayne. It's a lot simpler to just say Jayme.
Yes, we don't know what this podcast is either.
If you know what it is, let us know in the comments. Yeah, I'm glad this is on the card, though. Kudos to all of them for getting on there. And yeah, it's good for even people like Kelani Jordan. She's not a big factor in here, but she's been getting a lot of attention her way. And that's a good sign for her future. So I like that.
You know, I got to give Shawn Michaels credit. NXT is the only show across all the week of wrestling that just properly books multiple women. Whether or not they can wrestle is irrelevant, as far as I'm concerned. These women get airtime.
Multiple feuds at the same time, different storylines. It's weird to think that NXT is better at handling their women's division than both of all three of the shows of AEW.
I'm a big fan. You know, and I think the ability to wrestle will come in time.
Developmental almost, as you should say.
You know what? That might be the dumbest thing I've ever said. Yes.
You know, I think on the training program, they will learn how to do things better.
Shut up.
I can't say it's we're talking about the women's division and praising some of that stuff. Can't say that I'm the biggest fan of the women's championship match, though. Lyra Valkyria against Roxanne Perez.
Who is clearly winning the title.
Roxanne's obviously winning the title. Lyra Valkyria, whether she loses it outright or she loses it because of anything with Tatum Paxley related, I don't know. They did have this little thing with Paxley where she was talking to her backstage and Lyra's like, you know, I'm willing to do anything to retain my title, even if it's not being myself. Roxanne's just this heel turn, man. I'm not digging it.
I was surprised when Corey Brennan of Fightful Select reported that
toss him out again.
Oh, I'm gonna toss him out the whole fucking time because this guy's got NXT scoop. I don't know who he's talking to, but he's got NXT scoops every Tuesday. It's amazing.
Is he talking to that ampersand? What's up?
It might be it's that goddamn ampersand telling all the stories. But apparently they were gonna do this anyway. Apparently she and Cora were gonna be a heel tag team. And I'm like, it doesn't compute, but I mean it computes in the sense that of course they'd want to work with each other. They're friends.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I don't know if Roxanne has what it takes because she just comes off like, hello, I'm playing a villain today. You know, Natty, I don't have to listen to any of my heroes anymore.
And you're like, okay, what the fuck did you come over here for?
And I'm like, okay, so is it Natty Roxanne for your first rivalry?
Could be. It's like Valkyria is in a spot that I don't think that she is necessarily in the same boat as some of the other ones we've just mentioned, where it's like, okay, she drops the title, then she moves up to the main roster. She could be. You know, we could see her on Raw or SmackDown in the next 2 months or something. But even if she drops the belt, I don't think it's a guarantee. And I've said before, I didn't really like that they're just doing this match because they just did it at the last event, but they've done nothing to really sell me on it other, as like, okay, the rematch is going to be better than this one. I don't think so. I think it's going to be the same match we had before. And I wasn't the biggest fan of that. So I've already seen it. I'm not interested either of their characters. And they've done nothing to upgrade it in the meantime. This is a total snooze fest for me.
Yeah, I can't say that. I can't say like I'm gonna tune out of when Roxanne's on TV because she's the one woman that they've told you from day one that you should care about. They do a great job putting all their women on TV, but with Roxanne, it's like, all right, she is the modern NXT star. But I do hope she wins because it never clicked for me with Valkyria, even though I admit she's a hell of a lot better today than when she beat Becky Lynch at Halloween Havoc.
Yeah, she's improved quite a bit. Still not enough for me to be like, wow, what a great championship reign or anything. I still think she's the weakest NXT Women's Champion they've ever had, except for maybe Ember Moon. But
what the fuck did Athena do to you to catch these strays on April 2nd, 2024?
She couldn't beat Asuka, then she beat other people, and then it couldn't beat Shayna, then lost it to Shayna. What a shit reign.
I don't know, man. Like, I think Lyra, for me, is the weakest by far. That's unfortunate. Again, I like Lyra, but she was definitely the weakest NXT champion.
So both of us going Roxanne Perez. I think pretty much everybody in the world would be going with Roxanne Perez winning this.
And also, Roxanne ate attitude adjustment through a table. So
through a little tiny coffee table for a little tiny Roxanne Perez.
You couldn't help yourself, could you?
It was like, come on, do they have to give her the tiny one like that? Are they going to give her a little instead of giving her the championship belt, they're going to give her one of those little ones that they used to have for like they were like a commemorative little desk kind of belt. You know what I mean?
No, don't be mean to Roxanne. Roxanne's great. No, I think she should win here because if you're gonna keep her in NXT, which I wouldn't advise, you might as well make her champion. What else is there for her to do?
Clearly, over the past year, if she's not holding that belt, she's kind of floundering. So yeah, she's gonna win it. She'll drop it to, I don't know. I would say Nikita Lyons, but she's just injured all the time. So
perpetually.
Another knee injury because
I think she'll lose it to.
Could be Thea.
Carmen. Oh, Thea's perfect. She's the exact individual that Roxanne is talking about. She just can't help but be spunky, and I love my hero, Thea Hale at like Heatwave, which I can't believe it's been a year already for poor Thea. But Thea Hale would be perfect to beat Roxanne. In fact, that's where we're going.
Can't believe it's been a year for what?
Since she fought Tiffany already. By the time we get around to like a Heatwave or something.
Huh. Yeah. Wow.
That sucks. Isn't that crazy?
I hate how time goes by like that. Yeah. So Roxanne Perez winning that belt. I don't think that the belt's changing hands for the North American Championship, though. Triple threat match, Oba Femi against Dijak and Josh Briggs. No Brooks Jensen this week. I thought that maybe they would do
he had
something.
said he was going away. I just hope he comes back.
At Stand and Deliver or just
no?
afterward?
I just hope he comes back.
Just period. Yeah. I don't think Dijak's winning this. I don't think Briggs is winning this. I would have to go Femi retains just from the sake that, they've been doing a lot to build him up. But they could always have Dijak or Briggs pin the other one and not pin Femi. I just don't think it's much of a chance.
Dijak would be walking out of this card with the NXT title. I don't want to see him walk out with the North American title because it feels beneath him at this point. Like, he was fighting Keith Lee for the NXT North American title 4 years ago.
5 years ago? No.
No, it was 4. It was right before COVID.
Well, that would be... I mean, that's 2020, so...
We're in 2024. I know how to do math. I speak English. No, if it was up to me, I'd put it on Josh Briggs. But it's not up to me, so Ova Femi's keeping it. And I'm all right with that because I'm an Ova feminist.
I lean towards Dijak taking the pin so that they could do Briggs and Femi just on an episode of TV.
Wouldn't you want... Okay, the way that you're telling the story did it make more sense for Dijak to be the one to get the singles match? Since he's the bigger star?
No, I think that Briggs is the one to focus a little bit more on. Although it's weird that they did this whole thing with JBL and it's like, you got to find yourself. And he's like, all right, cool. And for 2 weeks, he's mad. And then afterward, they just don't really reference any of that again.
Well, they referenced it tonight. You skipped that, didn't you?
What did he say? I had it on in the background.
He said, I got advice from a legend to be myself. And now everyone's going to see who Josh Briggs is. He didn't actually say how he's changed in any regard, but whatever. He's himself. I still think of Josh Briggs as the long-haired monster from
Evolve,
and I want that guy back. And hopefully this could be a start to getting that.
Still crossing my fingers that Briggs is going to get that kind of push. I want this dude to be fighting for the United States or Intercontinental Championship in a year or two. At most. Yeah. And I want that guy to win a future world title. I want him to be a guy that you can really kind of depend on. For that matter, I wanted that for Dijak too, but Dijak, they decided to throw a fucking stupid face thing on him.
I'm curious if Roman loses the title, how much things change to where it's like, I don't know, Dijak can just be on the main roster again. And you know what? He's going to be a main eventer because now we need main eventers 12 months a year.
Sounds a lot better, doesn't
it? It's just weird how they decide little things like that. What? Sometimes these things just don't matter. And then other times it's like, yeah, we need constant main eventers.
If I had it my way, that would be the case. I'd be seeing a lot more people get that bump up, and then we don't spend an entire year where nothing happens for a championship. Yeah, I'm down for that. Obafemi, though, he is booked too strong to lose the title right now.
Shit, they might be so infatuated with him that we might be missing the point. Maybe he's going.
Could be. I mean, they have done that with people in the past and just given them a real quick NXT run and then hot shot of them up to the main roster. Dragon Lee wasn't really in there for too long. Braun Strowman wasn't in there at all. He just went straight to the main roster.
He was the last guy, wasn't he?
To completely bypass NXT?
Completely bypass NXT. No training, no, he's not AJ Styles.
Yeah, I mean, Styles is a different situation. But yeah, Samoa Joe went through NXT, Nakamura, obviously, Bobby Roode. I can't think of anybody other than Jade.
Yeah, okay, Jade Cargill, yeah.
But on the men's side, I don't.
He definitely the last guy to do it. That's pretty crazy.
Hmm.
Call Boba Femi. Why not? You can tell. Look, guys, I'm gonna be real with you. This is because NXT shows are great, but they're super inconsequential. We're about to talk about why is Tony D'Angelo gonna become the NXT champion. It's like I don't know, because Gabagool. Like what does it matter? Like it's just fun. NXT is just fun. You don't gotta rack your brain too hard. It's just a good time. That's why we're being so stupid here. We're also just stupid.
It is the easiest show to watch. Like it breezes by compared to some of the other ones, and a lot of times, like, you know, I reached that 9:30 mark for Monday Night Raw, and I'm just like, oh man, is this almost finished yet? And then I'm like, fuck, it's got another hour and a half yet. I'm only halfway done. And then when it comes to NXT, a lot of the times they'll be like, oh, it's 9:30. All right, well, we're almost done then. And maybe that's because it's very like fast paced and it's a lot of stuff happening, so that keeps it a little bit more interesting. But maybe it's just because it's silly. And you know, when we get like these random backstage things and we're like, well, that was kind of odd and dumb, so let's talk about that or something. But it's you know, it's in a situation where let's just go to that match, because we might as well. Ilja Dragunov against Tony D'Angelo for the NXT Championship. I'll put it this way. I typed this out earlier, and I thought it was kind of funny. If you go to the Wrestling News post of this past episode of NXT that just happened, it says on there about the D'Angelo and Dragunov meeting thing. Back in the meeting, Mad Dragon wasn't intimidated by the Don's attempts to get a mental edge about ending his title reign. Nothing will stop Dragunov from leaving with the title, but Tony D plans to break the unbreakable. It's nothing personal, just business. They leave him with his, quote, last supper. Now, I had typed out, they leave him with his last supper, which is... And then I had to backtrack because I'm like, oh, they're not going to open the thing up and show what the food is.
Yeah, of course. But you would like if they did, wouldn't you?
But I instinctively started picturing, I'm like, oh, is it like some ravioli? Is it Tony some kind of thing?
Okay.
Like what do we got here? And it's like, that's the only show that I could be like, hey, what's the pasta?
Ilja Dragunov strikes me as a carbonara guy.
I could see that. I don't know about carbonara, maybe cacio e pepe.
Okay, but is he getting... We're going here. Is he getting an appetizer? Is he getting...
I would hope so. D'Angelo's better take care of him. You don't have appetizers. Get some calamari or something.
Really? Calamari? I could see that. I could see him being a calamari guy.
What's your go-to appetizer at an Italian place?
My go-to appetizer is that. Well, my go-to appetizer is absolutely calamari, because I just adore seafood. Seafood is one of my favorite things in the world. Well, behind all the other kinds of food.
It's my favorite behind all the other ones.
Oh no, I just mean food is great. I just enjoy eating all the time.
People don't know that the podcast earlier from WrestleMania started off with, it was just Callum and I on. He had said he had a burger. My first thing was, so how was that burger, Callum? And then we talked about that or whatever. And then when you got on the phone, you're like, oh, so how's that burger?
Yeah, how's the burger? Where'd you get it from?
We're both just like, yeah, what's up with the burger? Yeah.
We're just two guys who like to think about food. That's not weird.
Welcome to Snack Talk, everyone.
Welcome to Snack Talk. But like I was saying, Ilja's definitely like, I could see him getting, some calamari. He's definitely a cannoli guy. What do you think?
See, it doesn't strike me as a cannoli guy.
What kind of dessert?
I think he's going for more of a cake.
We talking like a cheesecake? What kind of cake you think?
Well, they haven't shown any desserts in the Tony D restaurant. They've only shown pasta dishes, mostly, and yes, I've been paying attention, mostly tomato sauce based.
It is mostly tomato sauce based. does it feel like a lot of penne, or what do you think?
Mm-hmm. Seems like it's a lot of penne or rigatoni. Like they kind of like their little standalone noodles rather than like a plate of like capellini or, linguine or something like that. My go-to, I mean, if I'm going to eat almost any kind of pasta, I'm going to eat almost any kind of pasta. But if you tell me you can only have one for the rest of your life, I'm going tortellini Alfredo. Come on.
I don't know. Look, gun to my head, it would probably be some kind of a big ziti. Maybe some meatballs.
I'll put it this way. We keep ordering from a place up here. It's a really good place. If anybody's ever in New York, you want to go to Iggy's. It's really good. So it's
yes, I did. Iggy.
The order that we keep getting, she tends to get the eggplant vodka with linguine. I tend to get some kind of like chicken Alfredo tortellini type of thing. And then we always order like a thing of big ziti. And then that's like, okay, those 3 things we'll eat like 2 or 3 times. The point being, D'Angelo's winning the title.
Hold on. Because I realized I said big ziti. I'm actually a chicken parm for the rest of my life kind of guy.
I will quote myself from the other day. Why is chicken parm not considered the number 2, if not at least the number 3 pasta dish that's the most popular? And then it turned into a whole conversation where I was like, well, spaghetti and meatballs is the one that everybody knows the most.
All of this to say, Tony D'Angelo's winning the NXT Championship that we're going to celebrate with a pasta party.
I have plans already to eat pasta most likely on Saturday, so... Whether or not Dragunov had his pasta meal as his last supper, I don't know. Maybe it was something else. Maybe he had some veal scallopini or something. Tony D doesn't necessarily always have to have pasta. You go to a nice Italian place. They got some other options there, but I would hope Dragunov...
He could be an oyster kind of guy.
A little mussels marinara or something.
This is insane. This is insane. I hope you're entertained.
Leave a comment below. What's your go-to pasta dishes? Because I can fuck with some chicken parm any day of the week. And
any day of the week. Or some chicken marsala. Or some veal marsala. Veal is underrated, I think.
Veal is massively underrated. I haven't had veal in a long time, and I'm disappointed in that. Well, now I'm not even hungry anymore, and now I want some fucking veal parm or something. So...
You know what tickles me? It's like, if you come to Smark Out Moment and you don't realize that we're just genuine friends, then I don't know what you're listening to.
Yeah. The professionalism behind this
is 0.
It's like, okay, so you're doing how far along in this episode? A 48-minute episode of this podcast, and it's like, yeah, you probably could have wrapped it up in a half hour if you weren't talking about fucking veal.
20 minutes. We weren't talking about veal parmesan.
Oh, but the real thing, if you want to get veal, you get some veal cutlets, right? And then you get some twice baked potatoes to go along with that. You don't have to have the pasta stuff. You get some twice baked potatoes. That's another thing.
That sounds so good.
Shout out to Maloney's, the place that used to have the best ones back when where I was from before. Tony D, though, he is going to win this belt, and it's time for today to lose his belt and move the fuck on. Go to the main roster. Start fighting for the Intercontinental title or something.
Well, Corey Brennan of Fightful Select has reported that Ilja is seen on the same level as Gunther. So at some point he will be going up, and I'm sure he'll be feuding with Gunther for probably the Intercontinental Championship.
Hopefully with Gunther still retaining over Sami Zayn. We were talking about a little about that earlier. If Dragunov does win this match, not only will I be surprised, but I'll also have no clue who the next champion is. Because I can't imagine it's Trick. That just wouldn't make any sense to me to go back to that. D'Angelo, though, they got some options. He could feud with a couple different people on the lines, and then maybe he drops it to Trick. Because I could see more than any scenario here, I think we're going to see a heel turn from Tony D.
Yeah, he should. why the fuck is the mobster even babyface?
Mm-hmm.
I've seen him kidnap multiple people, and he killed 2 times. I haven't even seen that guy since he threw him over the bridge.
Now he just changed him.
Did he? He shouldn't be a babyface. There should be about 20 mobsters that help him win this title.
I will say there's been no quarter when it comes to that situation with 2 times.
About a nickel short. Oh, God. I don't know about you, but I'm way more excited for this show just because of the stupidity of this podcast.
I don't know about you, but I'm way more excited about the next time I eat.
Well, I'm always excited about the next time I eat.
Yeah, get some fucking pasta. I'm going to be like having flashbacks to this podcast. Dragunov against Tony D. We're both going Tony D, though. I don't think that there's much of a chance Dragunov retains. And then in our main event, Carmelo Hayes versus Trick Williams. They did not announce anything tonight that I thought that they were going to. I thought that they were going to make this an unsanctioned match.
They pretty much did. They pussied out, though. They
did like the half-assed way of doing it. They had for anybody who missed it, Ava was backstage and she said to just Carmelo, the referee at Stand and Deliver is going to have a lot of leniency because there needs to be a winner. AKA, it's no DQ. It's no DQ without saying it's a no DQ match. They're not going to, obviously, they wouldn't have ended this with a count out anyway, just because that would have been stupid. But they're going to fight with less of the rules. And you're essentially going to get a no DQ match without the need of, like, you know, kendo sticks and stuff. It's cool that they're having the main event, even without the title. They tossed it out this, like, the final segment of the NXT episode tonight that it's the first time that 2 black men are main eventing Stand and Deliver. And I think, is it the first time for any NXT pay-per-view? It might be.
Look, I don't know if somebody correct me if I'm wrong here, but is it the first time, like, for any WWE pay-per-view? No, I guess that would be Rock and Booker T at SummerSlam 01, but they're very few and far between, so shout out to these then.
Yeah, very cool.
And you know what? Honest to God, shout out to them because that's the last thing I was even thinking about. This is the main event because it deserves to be. The fact that they're making history on top of it is just icing on the cake.
Well, now I want a cake.
Yeah.
What kind of cake are we talking about? I am 100% on Trick Williams winning this. He just straight up wins. Mello tucks his tail, leaves, and that's the end of that story. Yeah. At least for now.
Yep, because Mello goes up to SmackDown. Trick can eventually beat Tony D and be the face of NXT for a while.
Nothing more with the Lash Legend thing.
Ridiculous that they just did it to do it. Because it really felt like that was going to be a major focal point because it was the major talking point coming out of that episode.
And even on this face-to-face thing, Carmelo's like, the best way for me to explain how you turned your back on me is if we equate our championships to our girlfriends. You had your North American title. I had my NXT title. We both lost them, and we both decided to go back for them, but you decided to go for my girl. And it's like, oh, wasn't that the perfect time to be like, and what if I would have gone after Lash? Or something, you know? Like, you have an equivalent of that.
Yeah,
but they just didn't do it.
Huh. Would have been nice.
Also would have been nice if Dragunov would have revealed that pasta dish, but, you know, I mean, you can't get everything when it comes to that. So, Mello and Trick are, I think, going to steal the show on this show. And, I'm looking forward to Trick celebrating at the end, being victorious.
With that Trick chance all throughout the Wells Fargo.
Booker T's going to like it.
I like it.
Yeah, what? Uh-huh. And then, and that's going to be Stand and Deliver.
And then you'll care about that for like a minute and you'll blink and it'll be Mania.
by the time that ends, it's going to be like what, 3:30, 4 o'clock, something. And it's going to lead right into the post show. That'll lead right into the countdown to WrestleMania. And it's going to be a fast turnaround when it comes to that. Not a quick turnaround, I would say, because then we'd be doing a tournament. But that like rush is one of my least favorite parts about WrestleMania week at this point. But we will nevertheless be having a post show, even if we have to cut it short and make it like only a half hour and not dive super deep into
we
Phil
won't
Scalpini.
be talking about pasta.
Maybe off the air, I don't know. But
well, we're always talking about food off the air.
That is true. Now I don't have a game plan for what I'm going to eat tomorrow, but I'm like,
I really feel like we should eat pasta on Saturday now.
I mean, I'm almost guaranteed that that's going to happen for me.
I might have to do that.
Pasta and or pizza is happening Saturday and or Sunday. I know that's just a go-to for sure.
You're selling me on it, actually.
I had tacos tonight, so yeah.
All right, we're gonna wrap this up before we can go into our breakfast ideas. Waffles. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm always excited about NXT because again, it's fun. Like we wouldn't have been able to do this for the WrestleMania podcast because we'd had like 17 matches to cover,
and it's way more serious.
Yeah, and this is fun. So I think it'll be a great show. It's another win for NXT under the Shawn Michaels era, and it's a great start for this new generation.
I think that it's going to be predominantly a really good show. I do think that there's going to be a couple little hiccups along the way. I think, for instance, that Lyra Valkyria Roxanne Perez match is probably going to be one of the weakest of the show. And there's a chance that, you know, maybe things don't really get off to a great start with the tag match or something, but there's a lot of potential here. So if they have something that's a surprise, cool. If they don't, and it's just this lineup, I think I'll still probably be okay with it. So we'll be watching that. Live coverage, of course, on smark.momo.com. I'll be having stuff on EWN. We've got the post show immediately following afterward, which if you don't have your email alerts set up, then obviously do that. But if you, for some reason, don't want to do that and you just want to kind of fly by, you know, the seat of your pants when it comes to that, then just, you know, whenever the show ends, hop on over to youtube.com/smarkoutmoment. You'll see that I'll have the thing up on there. You can join us for the super chats. You can chat alongside everybody talking about that. And we'll do the same when it comes to WrestleMania, night 1 and night 2. And I don't think we'll probably do anything else related to any of that. Maybe not necessarily Hall of Fame related stuff, but we might. So keep that in mind too. And if you have any other differing opinions or any, you know, what's your favorite pasta, whatever it might be, drop your thoughts in the comments below and keep the ball rolling there because, you know, we can always keep the discussion going. Make sure you are checking out that Funko Pop contest. Make sure you are voting on the Smark Madness tournament. Make sure that you are checking out the link tree over at amangotree.com or anthonymango.com. It's the same thing. Like, share, follow, favorite, subscribe to all those different things you see there. And head on over to check out what DeFelice land is up to.
There's a wonderful land. Oh my God, there's so much just laughs and enjoyment. A lot of food these days. By the way, leave it in the comments. What pasta dish do you associate with me? What pasta dish do you associate with Tony?
That's a very good question.
You know, let's get this discussion going. Anyway, if
debate with each other too. If somebody says, "Oh, you're more like a ravioli," oh, I think that you're more like a manicotti. You'd be like, "Explain."
Exactly, and I mean, honestly, if you think for 5 seconds that I take anything seriously in this life, go over to DeFelice on all the social medias. Go and check me out. It's this. It's brain soup. It's just like I'm not a very serious person because in life, guys, you gotta laugh. You gotta laugh, and it helps with everything else going on. But also, DeFelice.com. I'm looking at what will be the landing page. It's coming. I've seen it. I had a lot more productive conversations about it. But maybe when Dragunov tells you what he ate in that dish, maybe it'll be there. Who knows?
And what kind of soup is brain soup? Are we talking about chowder? Are we talking about...
First of all, nobody says chowder. It's chowder.
Chowder. I'll kill you. 10 points if you get the reference, everybody. 10 more points if you like New England clam chowder better, because Manhattan sucks.
I could go for some nice chowder. All right, I'm gonna get out of here and get some food. Wrap it up.
Now I'm just remembering this one lobster crab chowder that I had one time that I was never able to get again, and that place went out of business. But I'm like, man, that was the best fucking chowder.
Lobster's fantastic. I'd be a lot happier if I had lobster once a week.
I think that's across the board. Yeah. Well, hopefully you are happy with the NXT Stand and Deliver pay-per-view-point predictions. And hopefully we are all happy with what the pay-per-view is coming up on Saturday afternoon. Remember, everybody, it starts at 11 a.m. Eastern time for the countdown. And that will have one match on it. So if you do want to make sure that you check that out, that's a little bit before that noon time frame that they're telling everybody. And you will see any kind of updates in the meantime addressed over on the hot tags on Friday. But I don't think that they're really going to change anything. We'll be talking about things like the debut of WWE Speed. If I get a chance to check out that Roku show that I can't seem to find anywhere, and I don't have the Roku channel, so maybe I might not. But we'll talk about Next Gen, if that is the case. Talk about the CM Punk thing. That interview was very interesting, so plenty more on the hot tags coming your way before we get into the pay-per-view point stuff for the rest of the week. But that's going to do us in for this. Thank you, of course, as always, for listening. Thank you for all your support, whatever fashion it is, and we will see you next time. But this has been another Smark Out moment, and we are being counted out.